Hi everyone, I'm Keith Mathis with the Mathis Group. We are a premier ATP, and today we're going to be dealing with a video with our 7 minutes to PMP mastery entitled Creating a Culture of Communication and Common Group Focus. This is one of the tasks on the exam content outline that we're going to deal with today. So listen up and we'll talk about some of the newest adjustments to that task outline in this area. So in this video, we're going to look at core exam principles. For an example, communication is successful only when people develop shared understanding and can collaborate safely and openly. Creating a culture of communication means establishing an environment in which team members and stakeholders can share information openly and appropriately, can ask questions without fear of embarrassment or retaliation, listen actively to different perspectives, can provide and receive timely feedback, confirm that messages have been understood, and address misunderstandings before they become serious conflicts, and follow mutually understood expectations for working together. So communication is more than just talking with someone or making a presentation or sending a report. So the PMI mindset for this section talks about common ground. Common ground is the shared understanding that enables that collaboration that we're talking about. It includes agreement about the project vision and objectives, about the roles, the responsibilities, about priorities, decision-making authority, communication expectations, team values, behaviors, and methods for resolving disagreements. A project manager must do more than resolve individual disputes. The project manager must establish a culture in which expectations are clear, disagreements can occur safely, and people know how conflict will be managed. Agreed behaviors are consistently reinforced, and violations are corrected fairly. A common plan identifies what, when, how, and with whom information will be communicated. A communication culture determines whether people feel able and willing to communicate honestly. That distinction is important on the PMP exam. A project can have excellent communication technology and detailed reports, but still suffer from poor communication if people do not trust one another or interpret the information differently. The current PMP exam content outline places this topic primarily in the people domain, which represents 33% of the exam. The ECO distributes the remaining content between process at 41% and business environment at 26%. You'll notice these new percentages are different than what they were on previous exams because they have beefed up the business environment and trimmed back some of the other sections there. It also states that approximately 40% of the questions use predictive approaches, with the remaining 60% divided by agile and hybrid approaches. So that's going to make a difference on this particular exam that you're taking as well, because agile and Scrum, you don't really have a communication plan. You have a communication plan typically on the predictive side or plan-driven side. How to look at effective communication on the exam? Well, conflicting expectations. And so when you start looking at communication, the purpose of communication is to clear up any type of conflicting expectations. Rework and delayed decisions will be part of it. Undisclosed risk or impediments are going to come up on your test. Damaged stakeholder relationships are going to require more communication. Conflict caused by the assumptions rather than facts are going to be part of the communication. Also, deliverables that satisfy documented requirements but not stakeholder needs is going to be a little bit of a twist. And then expect questions that ask what the project manager should do first, next, or to prevent an occurrence. All of these different type of scenarios can be something possible in the area of communication. Also, key concepts the candidate must know. Communication is always going to be two-way. So your sending information is not enough. That's not communication. Effective communication includes sending or presenting the message, receiving the message, confirming understanding, obtaining feedback, clarifying differences in interpretation of the message. Silence does not necessarily mean agreement, and communication has to be tailored to the topic and to the people that you're going to be sending it to. So what this means is not everybody's going to get the exact same information. Project managers select the communication on the exam based on the stakeholder needs and influence, the message sensitivity or the urgency, cultural and language differences, geographic dispersion, technical complexity, need for discussion or immediate feedback, formal reporting, and governance requirements. So this will slant how that communication is sent. For an example, if we're talking about something sensitive and something urgent, it's going to make a difference on who gets it. We're not going to send that out to everyone. Common rules on communication for the exam. So, a complex or sensitive disagreement usually requires interactive communication, such as a facilitated communication rather than a lengthy email. Common ground does not require identical opinions, though. The goal is not to eliminate differences, it is to give people a shared basis for working through those particular differences. You're going to gather facts first, choose the root cause, and then analyze the situation. That is a pattern throughout the entire test on most questions. And so when you see an answer to where you jump immediately to sending an email or having a face-to-face meeting, that probably as a first step is not the right answer. The right answer is gathering the facts, choosing the root cause, and then analyzing the situation. Then choose the face-to-face meeting. So connecting the topic to people domains, which will make a difference here. So ECO tests, that's your exam content. So developing a common vision. So ensure stakeholders share, promote, and maintain this project vision. And we have other videos on the project vision. Manage conflicts. Identify sources of conflict, establish common ground rules, and implement agreed upon resolutions. Some of this is taken care of with the team charter, and we have a video on the team charter. Lead the project team. So establish expectations, empower the team, and support varied perspectives. Next is engaging the stakeholders. You tailor communication and you build trust. Next is align stakeholder expectations. This is where you facilitate discussions that create alignment, and then plan and manage communication. You define a strategy, promote transparency and collaboration, and establish feedback loops. So let me hit one more time. In a traditional project, plan-driven waterfall type of project, you've got a communication plan. On an Agile or Scrum project, you do not. You are already co-located, which is going to be a piece of your test as well. So I'm in the room with these people. I don't need a communication plan. I'm going to talk to them and walk across the floor to talk to them. Common exam traps to watch out for. There's going to be several of these. So first, confusing information distribution with communication. Just because everybody received the information, and even if they say they received the information, does not mean I have communicated. The second is escalating too early. So many times on the PMP test, they have escalation in there, and maybe in the real world, you get caught into having to escalate, but that's typically not the best answer, first answer in your test. You're going to evaluate it. You're going to look and see what the problem is. You're going to take some steps of action, and escalation might happen, but it's way down. It's not going to be the first thing. Choosing the most formal answer. This is probably not going to be the right answer either, because the most formal answer of escalating it upline or getting somebody to sign off or something like that typically takes that environment and that culture too formal for what the test question has. Assuming common ground means forcing consensus. You might not have a consensus. You might not have a majority of people agreeing. So common ground does not automatically mean consensus. Mistake number 5, treating disagreement as misconduct. You want people to disagree agreeably in that meeting. Number 6, imposing ground rules. Imposing ground rules is something that has been placed into effect with a team charter, and you're going to see that when you look at team charter. But imposing the ground rules does not mean automatically that you've communicated either. Number 7 would be using the wrong channel. We've sent an email when we really should have had a face-to-face meeting or something like that. Number 8 is going to be assuming that communication problem requires more communication. If one email did not communicate, 5 is not going to communicate any better. So you might want to change styles and tools of how you're doing this, such as go to face-to-face. Now, let's give you the PMP exam style question for this, and then we'll break it apart, give you the answer, and then tell you what was wrong with the others. So a project manager is leading a predictive project to implement a new regulatory reporting system. During user acceptance planning, the compliance manager states that early report must be reviewed by the legal department before testing. The information technology manager believes legal review is required only before final release. Both managers claim that their interpretation was approved during project initiation. Their disagreement has begun affecting team meetings. Team members now avoid asking questions because both managers respond defensively. The communication management plan identifies the required meaning and reports, but does not specify how disagreements concerning regulatory interpretation should be resolved. What should the project manager do first? A. Facilitate a discussion with the managers to identify the source of the misunderstanding, review the applicable requirements and decision authority, and establish a mutually understood and resolution process. Number two, ask the sponsor to determine which manager's interpretation should govern the project. Number three, update the communication management plan to require legal representatives to attend all future project meetings. Number four, document both interpretations as project risk and continue planning until the legal department provides a written decision. Now, we've talked to you about throwing away questions that are just kind of silly. D is one of those. D is going to be one of those that's kind of silly. So pick your answer from there, and then we're going to show you the answer and tell you what's wrong with the others. Okay, do you see your answer? All right, let's go to that. All right, the correct answer is actually A. Facilitate a discussion with the managers to identify the source of misunderstanding, review the applicable requirements and decision authority, and establish a mutually understood resolution process. The project manager should first address the misunderstanding directly with the affected stakeholders. The situation involves three connected problems. The stakeholders interpret a requirement differently, decision authority is unclear, and defensive behavior is reducing psychological safety and open communication. So this is hands down the correct answer here. But there are other answers that have correct components of it. So let's look at the other three. So B asks for the sponsor to determine which interpretation should govern the project. There might come a time for a sponsor to escalate it to a sponsor, but this is typically not the right answer on the test because you're escalating too quickly is what happened. Escalation may eventually be appropriate if parties cannot resolve the issue or if the sponsor possesses the required decision authority. It is not the best first action. C, require legal representatives to attend all future meetings. This changes the communication process before the root cause is identified. Legal attendance at every meeting may be unnecessary, costly, inefficient, okay? Then D, record the interpretations as risk and continue planning. This has not really done anything for this immediate problem. The disagreement is already occurring and affecting the team, so it's not a risk, which is always in the future. And so it's an active issue right now, not a risk. And so that's how you would get rid of this. So if this video has been beneficial for you in prepping for the PMP exam, don't hesitate to pass this around because we're making videos every week, keeping people updated on the ECOs for the new PMP exam. And so don't hesitate to pass it around. Also, if we can help you in any way, we sell our courses, everything except for the certifications, we sell them by the class. And so this pricing structure here of 1, 2, and 3-day classes, this is for up to 20 people. And so this is not per person. This is for the class for 20 people. We do it virtual. We can do it from anywhere in the world. We've been training project managers in Ukraine even. So if we can help you in any way to do any of our project management classes, we would love to. If you are interested in attending a certification class, this is for the PMP boot camp. We have several different pricing structures. The next to the last at the bottom is a private group rate, so it's $15.50 per person. Now these are per person, and so we have $15.50. That includes our guarantee, repayment guarantee. So you'll pay for your first test, we pay for your second and third, and we coach your people all the way through it. And these are all virtual, so you can do this from anywhere in the world as well. So thank you so much for watching this. And if I can help you in any way, I'd love to. We do public PMP exam prep boot camps every other month, and I'm the one who teaches it. If I can help you, there's our 800 number, there's my email address, and there's my website. I'd love to work with your company and work with you and help you get your PMP, or to just bring PDUs to your people and help them stay certified. So if this has helped you, I'll see you next month on the next video, okay? God bless you. Have a great day. Bye now.